Facebook, YouTube. How are we all? I am late this morning. I was meant to be here. I know it was meant to be 8:30 scheduled, but I did tell my community it'd be about 8:45. I do not miss whatsoever. I do not miss having to commute to work. Oh, I'm having to take Rachel to work, and I needed to take her in early this morning because I've got my spin class tonight. So she started early, so she's finishing early because I've got to pick her up before I do my spin class later on. So I've literally just sat in rush hour traffic. There and back to Rachel's work is 40 minutes maximum, and it's took me an hour and 10. Absolutely hate it. Anyway, I'm here now. This will be a shorter live. I'm going to be on until probably about 9:45. Then I'm going to go get a little bit of breakfast. Then I'm going to go get a little bit of breakfast. And then, what will I be doing then? I have no idea. What am I doing then? Weight loss coaching live. How to fuel for weight loss. That is what we are doing in this morning's weight loss coaching live. If you would like to take part in today's weight loss coaching live, you simply need to be either a member of my community or on my one-to-one plan. You can head to my link in bio, link on Facebook page, link on YouTube page, and you can sign up there. Right, let's do a top 5 this morning. If there is 5 of you that have commented, let's see who's in this morning. Faye's in at number 1, Kelly C's in at number 2, Dodge is in at number 3, Steve is in at number 4, and Son Birdie One is in at number 5. You're my top 5 this morning. Thank you very much, guys, for coming straight on and saying hello. Sheila, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Maureen, good morning, good morning. Anna's in. Morning, boss. You'll jinx yourself signing off with 8 foot. I know. It was, the traffic's horrible. Honestly, I never, ever. To be fair, normally if I have to take Rachel to work, she starts at 9, drop off at 9. It's normally fine on the way back. But today, the traffic's just crazy. But I think it's because I'm about half an hour earlier, so I'm kind of like hitting the school traffic in. Normally, if I drop off at 9 and I'm driving back here, it's like 9:15. But yeah, it was just manic. Anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, boss, did you enjoy the gym? I've been up since 7, cleaning, nearly done now, thank goodness. Not been to the gym yet today. Just taxi driving. I am going to the gym twice today. So I'm doing weight loss coaching live 10 to 11, and then I'm meeting a mate at the gym at 11:30, and we are training a pull session. And then I will be back in the gym at 5 o'clock this evening to do a spin class. So we're hitting the gym twice today. Lots of movement today. Busy one. A busy one. But it's all good. It is all good. Because I might not. There's going to probably be a day this week where I might not get to the gym. I don't know yet. Well, I say that I'm instructing spin again on Friday and Saturday morning, so I'll definitely be Friday, Saturday. Tomorrow, I think we're going to go before work, so it will be an early gym tomorrow. So I probably will get there every day this week, but just in case I don't, I'm doubling up today. Lisa's in. Good morning. Hope you are good. How ace is this weather? It is just amazing. It just makes everything better. It really, really does. Like, I always talk about SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and most people suffer with it to a varying degree. If you've ever in the middle of it, the weather's rubbish today, isn't it rubbish? That's SAD, that's seasonal affective disorder. Now, some people it affects more than others. It might not affect you to the point, but I guarantee in some way, shape or form, if in the middle of January or February, you lose motivation to go out and do a walk, or you just like, staying in, which triggers boredom eating, that is seasonal affective disorder. It's changing things. This time of year, when the weather's amazing, it makes it, for me, this is just for me personally, I do find it much easier on a day-to-day basis to control my calories. I find it much easier to get my steps in. I'm a lot more motivated. I'm a lot happier. It just makes everything, just driving home then, got my tunes on, got the window down, got my sunnies on. Life's just good. Life is just good when the weather is like this. And you've got to take advantage of it. Now, we're very lucky. I think parts of the country have had quite a bit of rain over the last, yesterday. Here in the northwest of England, we have not had a jot. It is just sun. It is absolutely superb. And as the saying goes, because the silage in at the moment around my way, You have got to make hay while the sun shines, and that's exactly what we're doing. You know, while the weather's this good, I'm embracing it. I'm taking it on board. I'm getting the steps in. I'm taking the boost in mentality, the boost in mental health, and yeah, and just working with it. 847 calories consumed yesterday, so that's all good. I'm doing Caesar. You know me, I've got a very addictive personality. So it's Caesar salad on Caesar salad. I've just been to Aldi. We're doing a cheeseburger Caesar salad tonight for tea. So Caesar salad, red onion, gherkin, 25 grams of mature cheddar cheese, 5% fat beef burgers diced up and sprinkled over the top, drizzle of burger sauce. Absolutely can't wait. Absolutely can't wait for that one. And then, do you know what? I bought 2 bags of it today, and I think I might have one for my lunch. Again, weather's like this. I've got, and I'm reviewing them today for this week's Worth of Calories videos, 2 new kebabs. So we had a few, we had 2 kofters and some jerk sizzlers last week's, I've got an unstable, it says I've got an unstable connection. Hang on, let me just check to see I'm on my boost. No, I'm all good. I'm on my extension, on my boost, my Wi-Fi booster, so I'm all good. Anyway, what was I talking about then? I can't remember. Oh, worth the calories. Anyway, I've got the sweet chili kebabs and the maple syrup chicken kebabs to try today. I'm going to cook both of those. I'm going to do a back-to-back review of those on this week's Worth the Calories. It's chicken at the end of the day, so is it going to be worth the calories in terms of calorie to protein ratio? Of course it is. But the question is, do they taste good? What is going to be the benchmark? I think the benchmark for me for like pre-made chicken kebabs is Iceland. I don't know if anyone's had the chicken kebabs from Iceland. They do 3 packs for a tenner, all different flavors. They are superb. They are really, really good. It's good quality chicken. The flavor's really, really nice. So that is going to be the benchmark. But some people don't like frozen. Some people like fresh. Sometimes it's a bit of a, it can be a little bit of a spontaneous, I think the Iceland ones you can actually cook from frozen. Don't get me wrong. But, you might just, especially when the weather's like this, spontaneous, should we have a barbecue tonight? Yeah, I'll nip into Aldi on the way home. And again, if you are buying frozen chicken that needs to defrost and then cook it, it's a time thing, isn't it? Plus, you can't really, it's hard to cook frozen on the barbecue because you'll get a very charred outside and you could get possibly a very undercooked inside. So you're always better off cooking fresh, really, on a barbecue. Anyway, I'm going to have those kebabs for dinner. We're going to have I don't actually know what the calories are on the kebabs. They're about 100 calories each. They're not a lot. So I'm thinking 4 kebabs, get that protein in with a full Caesar salad kit, which is 280 calories. So, hello, Betty. What do you want? Do you want to come and say hello? No. You never want to come and say hello, do you? It's only Blossom. She's the most unsociable dog in the world. Blossom's the most sociable dog in the world. Betty's the most unsociable dog in the world. They kind of complement each other in a way. In South, the weather is nice, lovely. In a heat wave in South Yorkshire, yeah, it was so warm yesterday here. It was really warm. It's humid. Really, really humid yesterday. Watch out for the pork, mozzarella, and tomato skewers from Tesco's. 360 calories a skewer. Yeah, you have got to be really, really careful sometimes. I had a little look today. They've got chicken and chorizo skewers in Aldi, and they're not too bad. But obviously, I'm not a massive fan of chorizo, to be honest with you. I'm not. It doesn't. It's I love things like salami and stuff like that. Chorizo for me, as its place, I don't mind if it's a bit in a paella or something like that, but I'm not. It's not like my favourite flavour in the world, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, you've got to watch sometimes. You've got to be careful. It's like someone commented the other day. I did one of my salad creations, and someone said, "Oh, I don't eat meat. What would you recommend instead of meat?" And I didn't actually comment anything at the time, and someone commented halloumi, and I'm literally then I commented, and I was like, "Look, halloumi's amazing. I absolutely love it. There's 200 grams of pork on there. There's 200 grams of whatever chicken I think it was on there. If you replace 200 grams of chicken, cooked chicken, which is, well, it was 200 grams of raw chicken, so it'd be about 160 grams cooked, right? Which will come in at around about 225 calories. If you replace that with halloumi, you're going to easily double the calories, and you're not going to add the protein to it. So yes, halloumi is an, and I see so many people like, oh, try this as an alternative. Have a halloumi burger. You're gonna get protein in it, but you're gonna have lower protein for a lot more calories. So you've got to be careful. Send you a WhatsApp, Neil. I know because my body's done me dirty. I had seen it come through, Faye. I will have a read through of it. Admin today, guys, is going to be early afternoon. So if you have WhatsApped me since probably 9:30 last night, my WhatsApp was clear at 9:30 last night. If you have WhatsApped me since then, I'm going to get stuck into it. So like I say, I'm doing this live now, then I'm going straight into a weight loss coaching live, 10 till 11. I meet my mate at the gym at 11:30. We're going to train. I should be home for about 12:30, 1:15. Right? Then I'm going to do some lunch and film a worth of calories. So I'm aiming to get back here in the office for about 1:30, 1:45. So if you have WhatsApp me, I will be getting back stuck into those things then. I'm going to try and have 2 meals today. How much protein should I have in those meals? It doesn't really matter, right? And honestly, I'm not trying. When I say it doesn't really matter, look, I'm a weight loss coach. And James, I know weight loss isn't your goal, right? I'm a weight loss coach. And in terms of weight loss, a high protein diet is important. Hitting a specific amount isn't, right? Now, some people will argue different to that. But my main challenge as a weight loss coach is to get people to control their calories. Right? That's it. If I start giving them several goals to hit, it just becomes too confusing. Right? Now we do need to understand if we go into a calorie deficit, right? We can go into something called a catabolic state. Now, a catabolic state is where our body not only loses fat mass, it will lose muscle mass as well. But that will generally only happen if you go into a unhealthy calorie deficit, right? And if you have lower amounts of body fat, right? Your body will not go catabolic if you've got high levels of body fat, right? You also really need to worry about going catabolic where you lose muscle mass and body fat if you carry abnormal amounts of muscle mass. All right, everyday people that don't carry ridiculous amounts of muscle mass, the amount of muscle mass you're going to lose in a calorie deficit isn't going to be that high, right? It really, really isn't. Now, don't get me wrong, protein, apart from limiting the effects of sarcopenia, limiting the effects of going catabolic in a calorie deficit, so you maintain muscle mass, it does have other health benefits as well. And I recommend a high protein diet. Now, the RDA for protein is about 60 grams a day for most people, right? And that is enough. And you'd be amazed how many people don't even get that in. You would be amazed how many people, on average, certainly this is a very common trend if people are unhealthy. It is very rare that 10% of their calories is made up of protein. We tend to find the majority of people's calories are made up of carbs. The second macronutrient will be fat, right? Which fat's always going to make up because fat has just over twice as many calories as protein and carbs anyway, right? But yeah, most people have low levels. So let's say you're eating on average 2,000 calories a day. Then for a lot of people, only about 200 of those calories is made up of protein. If you take 200 and divide that by 4, that's 50 grams. That's not even hitting the RDA. That's not even hitting your recommended daily allowance or amounts, right? That is literally, your RDI, your recommended daily intake, right? So if I've got clients now that are eating 70, 80 grams of protein a day, it's a high protein diet. It's enough to maintain muscle mass, right? If you want to build muscle mass, you might need a little bit more than that. There is a common gym theory with protein that the amount you should eat is 1 gram of protein for every pound you weigh, right? if you're on a weight loss journey, it would be a gram of protein for your goal weight. So you might weigh 250 pounds at the moment, but your goal weight is 160 pounds. So then your goal will be 160. You do not need to eat that much protein. That actual theory, that gym bro theory, it has been debunked a few times that you need to consume that massive amount of protein to build muscle, right? It has. There's a good few peer-reviewed studies that actually suggest that you can actually, if your training is right, you can actually build muscle off 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, which would be half a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So again, if your goal weight is 160, 80 grams is enough. Now, for me personally, I massively promote a high protein diet, but I do not promote hitting a specific amount of protein, because for 99% of people, there is no specific amount of protein you need to hit. The main reason we consume protein on a weight loss journey is for satiation. It is to fill us up. It is to slow down the digestion of food, to help us control our calorie intake. The longer food sits in our sort of stomach before it moves into our intestine, the fuller we feel. And again, there is no specific amount of protein needed. If every time you eat something, you make sure there is a decent source of protein in there, and you can use the old adage, the size of your fist or whatever you want, right? But basically, my philosophy is, what are you having for your breakfast today? Are you having Crunchy Nut cornflakes, hardly any protein, or are you having some Greek yogurt with berries and granola? Decent amount of protein. Dead simple, right? One's got a decent amount of protein in it. A decent bowl of Greek yogurt with maybe a little bit of granola. And if you really want to boost the protein, add a little scoop of whey in there. I recommend about 10% ratio. So if you have 100 for every 100 grams of yogurt, I recommend 10% protein powder, right, to flavor it. You don't really need to put any more in there, and that'll give it a protein boost. But that's the difference. What is your lunch today? Are you having 2 slices of white bread, right, or 2 slices of any bread, right, with 1 little piece of wafer thin ham on it? Pretty much, you've got a bit of protein in the bread. You'll have the smidge of protein, but that sandwich will probably have 10 grams of protein in it, if that, right? Or is your lunch today a Caesar salad kit with 3, chicken kebabs on top, right? Not far off, probably a full Caesar salad kit, 280 calories, 3 of these kebabs on top, you're going to be just under 600 calories. If your lunch today is 2 slices of bread, wafer thin, bit of butter, wafer thin piece of ham, bag of crisps, and I don't know, a Kit Kat, it's pretty calorie controlled. You're going to be at around about 500 calories. But in that meal, you're going to be lucky if you've got 10 to 15 grams of protein. Whereas a Caesar salad with 3 chicken skewers on it, you're going to be at 40, 50 grams of protein. More, 50 grams of protein, right? So just make sure you prioritize, every time you're planning something to eat, what's your protein source? That's the first thing you think of. And then build your meal around it. Right, what's for lunch today? Chicken skewers. Right, what are you going to have with it? You're going to have some rice with it. Are you then going to have are you going to have potatoes with it? Are you going to have a salad with it? What are you going to have with it? Right? Just make sure whenever you're planning a meal, right, what am I having for my breakfast today? Yogurt. Right, bang, great. That's your protein. How are you going to do it? Are you going to do it as an overnight oat dish? Are you going to do it as a yogurt bowl like I do it? Are you going to do it as a smoothie? Right, you're going to put yogurt, protein powder, add some fruit in there and blitz it up and eat it and drink it on, maybe add a little bit of water to it, thin it down and drink it as a yogurt smoothie on the way. Don't matter, right? But just make sure when you're planning your eating, most of the time, doesn't need to be all the time, but most of the time, the first thing, you build your meal around a protein source. And if you do that, you'll have a high protein, more than enough protein in your diet. Yeah, you do not need to stick to specific amounts. Yeah. Now, if you are getting to a point where you're reaching your weight loss goal and your priorities are shifting slightly to then changing your body composition, you're going to the gym, you want to lift heavier weights, you want to get hench in the gym, then we might switch and go, right. But if you're getting to a point where you're hitting your weight loss goal, you should have very good control over your calories, and it should be a lot more subconscious than a massive thought process. And then we can stick another goal in. But honestly, I see so many people, they message me all the time or they comment on my posts. I'm hitting my calories, but I'm not hitting my protein and my fiber. I mean, don't worry about that. You're on a weight loss journey. Concentrate on hitting your calories. Yeah, concentrate on hitting your calories. And then, like I say, when it comes to planning your eating, fueling your eating, and I'm going to talk about this today in this week's weekly, the first of this week's weight loss coaching lives. So I'm talking today about how to fuel for weight loss, right? And there's lots of different things, and I'm going to talk about how to fuel to not hit your brick wall. I'm going to talk about how to fuel to help aid with keeping full. I'm going to talk about how to fuel to improve your energy levels and motivation. I'm gonna cover a lot of bases. All right. So if you want to watch that live, you need to come and join the community. It's £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube profile. Click on the link, sign up to the community. Use code WELCOME at checkout. Cost you £5 to come into the community for a month. And I do 2 weight loss coaching lives, 1 week, 1 the next. So 2 this week, 1 next week, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So you get around 6 weight loss coaching lives a month. You get a Zoom session every week. You get a community that you can chat to that is a perfectly safe environment. Like in the WhatsApp community at any one time, there's over 200 people. In the Facebook group at any one time, there's over 400 people. So there's just lots and lots of support in there, But yeah, specific numbers is there's just no need at the beginning to stick to your calories, right? Prioritize protein in your meals. If you're doing that, 99% of people, you're getting more than enough protein in. Yeah. Stefan's having 3 eggs, just 3 eggs. What else are you having with it? And how are you doing those eggs, Stefan? Let us know. I do love eggs. Look forward to the next live. Sounds like it could be helpful. Hopefully, Paula. Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be a good one. I think a lot of people get plus Paula on Facebook. She's on plan with me. I think a lot of people get very, very wrapped up in having to eat in a very specific way for weight loss. You don't. Weight loss, fat loss is caused by calories in versus calories out. And anyone that tells you different, if anyone tries to mention, no, it's all to do with balancing your hormones, and that's just garbage, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If you have certain hormone imbalances, can that make it harder to stick to a calorie deficit? Of course it can. It can, hormone imbalances can trigger fatigue, it can trigger emotional eating and stuff like that. But you can eat whatever you want. Like I've just said there, you can eat your crunchy nut cornflakes, you can eat your wafer thin ham sandwich for your dinner, you can eat your, oven pizza for tea. If it all fits in with your calories, and you can be consistent, you will lose body fat. But the way we structure our eating for lots of different reasons will support the journey for lots of different reasons, right? So it's not just about, eating protein. It's not just about sticking to calories at times. It is about kind of sometimes putting the package together. And like I say, if you can survive, if you're controlling your calories, if you're overweight and you're controlling your calories by eating crunchy nut cornflakes all the time, eating wafer thin ham sandwiches all the time, eating, smiley faces and turkey twizzlers all the time, right? You're going to lose body fat, but you're not going to be healthy. And at a certain point in time, that diet will take its toll on physical health. It will take its toll on mental health. And that will make it harder to stick to the journey. If you enjoy smiley faces and turkey twizzlers, eat them. But let's have them once a week, right? Rather than have beige teas every night. Yeah. So I'm just going to talk about structuring, planning, all sorts. I'm going to cover lots in about 45 minutes. That is going to be my aim. So I'm going to get on the live at 10. I need to be done for 11. So 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to go through a lot. But I'm going to try and keep it, as always with my coaching style, I'm going to keep it simple. No specific numbers, just let's try and prioritize this, and this when we eat something most of the time. Yeah. Anyway, you'll see. If you're on plan in the community, you'll be all good. With a packet of tomatoes and Nando's sweet chili jam, and fry the eggs in butter, 460. Ooh, Stefan's going for the old frying eggs in butter, eh? Very luxurious. And obviously not the most calorie conscious. No, his overall calorie calories breakfast is absolutely fine. And again, you can cook and eat whichever way you want to, but we do need to be aware of certain things that could affect our health. And there's a few other things. There's a few things we need to look at. Yeah. I love your lives. I do my morning walks whilst listening about weight loss. Brilliant, Gemma, and I'm glad, and I hope they bring. I do just sit here. I don't plan anything, especially with my social media lives. I just come on and chat away and interact with you guys and try and answer any questions I can. And I just hope for me, waffling as I do, it evokes some responses in your mind that will help support your weight loss journey. Too many number targets can become so overwhelming, especially at the start. Your way works so well. Yeah, absolutely, Faye. And that is the issue. It's kind of like you kind of sometimes got to do with a lot of people. Slowly catch your monkey. And, we've got to prioritize calories. That's number one, right? If you're not in a calorie deficit, you ain't going to lose weight, right? And a lot of people, certainly for a good few weeks, even a few months sometimes, don't need to change their diet. They can just reduce what they are eating and stick to it. But that will only last so long. Eventually, we are going to have to, structure this diet. Steffi's having French toast. Oh, is that a calorie controlled or calorie conscious French toast, or are you having a treat, Steffi? Stephen, frosted wheats with a protein peach yogurt poured over them. Sounds amazing. I love frosted wheats. Absolutely love them. I love shredded wheat, but yeah, frosted wheats with things like Aldi do the ones with they either have blueberries or apricots in, or they might not be frosted wheats, actually. They might just be like fruit wheats, but then you can get your frosted wheats. Absolutely love them. And again, if you enjoy eating something like that, we can make something like that into a protein. So, like Stephen's doing there, brilliant. Protein peach yogurt poured over the top. Or you can use a protein shake as the milk. I had the new vanilla. I checked today, actually, all the Cowbell, right? All the Cowbell protein shakes in Aldi. I don't know when this happened. It might have happened ages ago. Have changed to over 25 grams of protein. So they always used to be 20 grams of protein for between 160 and 180 calories. They're now all about 200 calories for over 25 grams of protein. So they've ramped the protein up there. A few more calories, obviously, because there's more protein. Protein's 4 calories a gram. So if you're adding 5 grams of protein to something, it's going to add 20 calories. But I'm happy. I take the 20 calorie. I will take the 20 calorie. I will take the 20 calorie bump, as it were, for an extra 5 grams of protein. So you can take something that we might class as a treat. But I had the vanilla shake yesterday, and that is very sweet, but not overly. And I was like, this vanilla shake would be perfect as milk for cereal. Really, really would. Yeah, really, really would. So if you got something like shredded wheat, but you wanted cereal, or even if you wanted a more of a treat cereal like Cocoa Pops, use that vanilla shake on there, and you're going to be, if you have 200 grams, not 200 grams of Cocoa Pops, if you had like 75 grams of Cocoa Pops, which would come in at around about 300 calories, and then you had that, it's going to be a 500 calorie breakfast, but it's going to be a 500 calorie breakfast of cereal, which some people like, and you're going to be getting around 30 grams of protein, which is pretty decent, really. It's not bad for with a cereal. Loving that vanilla one with my Weetabix and some other cereals. Yeah, absolutely. I noticed they're going up to 25 grams. Yeah, I don't know if it's like the vanilla one says I'm new because they used to actually do salted caramel, strawberry, and chocolate. Now it looks like they're doing strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. And but the strawberry and chocolate hasn't got the I'm new. So it's the same one. They've just obviously added it, and it's the same volume. I think it's 330 ml. It might not be. There might be a bigger volume now. Beck on Facebook. Hi, Neil. If I'm in a calorie deficit and I'm going to the gym 5 days a week, I get that muscle weighs heavier than fat. But will the scales go down and show me what I want to see if I stick to it? Thank you for your meal breakdowns and suggestions. They're really helpful to mix up your diet. Not a problem at all. Okay, Beck. It's great that you're going to the gym and you're going 5 days a week and you're hopefully lifting weights there, which is why you're asking about muscle. So muscle doesn't weigh heavier than fat. Right? Everything actually on this planet weighs the same, right? It's about volume. So a pound of fat, let me use an example. This is a pound of fat. This is a pound of muscle, right? They both weigh 1 pound, but muscle is a lot denser than fat. So it takes up less space in the body, right? Now, there's a lot of false information or a big fallacy that goes on where, you're not losing weight, you're going to the gym because you're building muscle and this, that, and the other, and it's countable. Right. Building muscle is an extremely slow process. Even if you're going 5 days a week, even if you're brand new to the gym, it is an extremely slow process. Losing body fat is a fast process. Now, you might be sat there going, no, Neil, it's not. It's really slow. It really isn't, right? How much did you weigh 5 years ago? You might come to me and go, well, 5 years ago, I weighed 16 stone. What do you weigh today? I weigh 19 stone, right? So you've gained 3 stone in 5 years. You can lose 3 stone in 9 months. We can lose fat miles quicker than we actually gain it. It might not feel like that, but we can lose weight miles quicker than we gain it. Building muscle, very, very slow. Losing fat, quick. Anyone that is is on a healthy system, I'm not saying anyone, let me go with this. 95% of people that are sticking to a healthy, sustainable calorie allowance can lose 4 to 6 pounds a month. Now, Beck's saying here she does 2 weight sessions a week and 3 cardio sessions in the gym. Beck, you will be lucky if you build 0.5 pound of muscle in a month training like that, right? Yet you can lose quite comfortably 4 to 6 pounds of body fat. So if you lose 4 to 6 pounds of body fat and you're only going to be gaining 0.5 pound of muscle a month, right? The scales are still going to show a good amount of fat loss on the scales, right? So, it's not. So if you've been going to the gym for 2 months and you think you've been in a calorie deficit that should have lost 8 pounds of body fat in 2 months and you've stayed the same, you haven't increased your muscle mass by 8 pounds and reduced your body fat, which is why you're seeing a maintenance, right? You've basically just not been in a calorie deficit. All right. So yeah, muscle and fat weigh a pound of muscle, pound of fat, pound of muscle weigh exactly the same. They weigh 1 pound. But if I lose a pound of body fat and gain a pound of muscle, the scales won't change, right? But I can lose one of them in a week, and it can take, certainly females, 2 months to gain one of those. So if I lose one of these a week over 2 months, that's 9 of these gone, right? And if I only gain one of these in 2 months, right, that's 8 pounds. That's 8. You'll still see an 8 pound loss on this. Gain one of them, lose 9 of them in 2 months, you're still going to see an 8 pound loss on the scale, which is fantastic, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If your training is bang on, right, and you're lifting weights 3-4 times a week for an hour at a time with a fantastic training regime, using progressive overload, training to failure on pretty much all your sets, and you are eating the right amount of protein, you might be able to gain one of these a month, right? If you're new to the gym. If you're male, you might be able to gain 1.5 of these a month, right? Male, female, you lose 4 to 6 of these. So even if your training's amazing, everything's bang on, your diet's bang on, and you gain 1 of these in a month, and you lose 5 of these, you're still going to see a 4 pound loss on the scales. All right. So it's a massive fallacy that if you're on a weight loss journey, that building muscle can be counterbalanced. The scales can be counterbalanced with building muscle and losing body fat at the same time. Nonsense, right? You're just not in a calorie deficit. Yeah. Is that the same approach in losing muscle? Is it a slow process? Just very, really slow. Yeah, absolutely. Years to lose. Like people go on about like I talked about this before, saying when you go into a calorie deficit, we go instead of anabolic is building muscle, catabolic is losing muscle, right? And we can go catabolic in a calorie deficit where we not only lose body fat, we will lose some muscle mass, right? But if you have standard skeletal muscle, right? Yeah, the process of, and you're overweight, you're not going to really go catabolic anyway, right? But if you have standard, the loss of muscle mass is really slow. Is really, really slow, right? If you've got someone that's been training for years and years and years, and they've took steroids or any type of performance enhancing drugs, and they carry an abnormal amount of muscle mass, yes, they could lose muscle tissue relatively quickly. And again, not that anyone would notice. If you've got someone like, let's take Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime in the 70s, right? And he's absolutely hench, right? If he didn't train for 6 months, right, didn't go to the gym for 6 months, he would lose a reasonable amount of muscle mass. But to the human eye, to me and you wouldn't even notice it. He'd come in and go, "Oh, I'm really small at the moment. I've lost so much muscle." And you used to be like going, "Mate, you're still absolutely huge," right? But if someone that carries abnormal amounts of muscle mass loses 3 or 4 pounds of muscle, and that's what someone would lose that had loads of muscle, 3 or 4 pounds. But 3 or 4 pounds of muscle mass when you're a bodybuilder is a lot of muscle, right? If you're in a healthy, if you have standard skeletal muscle, right, and you'll lose a lot less muscle as a female than you will as a male because you carry less muscle anyway. That's not a sexist thing, by the way. It's just genetics. It's just science. Yeah. Everyone who's gained muscle fast at the gym recently are clearly on roids these days. You can just tell. You can and you can't. It's kind of one of those, really. It's, it all depends on age. It all depends on training. Building muscle relatively quickly is not a massive sign of people being on performance enhancing drugs. There are more signs. So I can tell someone that's on performance enhancing drugs by features of the body more than the mass that they gain over a smaller period, over a period of time. But if you're talking someone's turned up to the gym and they're quite skinny, and then within 6 months they're packing an absolute, there's very, and I would tell you now, people would be amazed, but there's a massive amount of people on performance enhancing drugs, and that's fine. And trust me, like a lot of people go, "Oh, well, it's customers." Look, you do not gain muscle unless you're training amazing. Whether you're taking performance enhancing drugs or not, any type of testosterone, and TRT is massive at the moment, right? TRT is huge in America. It's been huge in America for years, right? But TRT is getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the UK, which is testosterone replacement therapy. So, and we should never be disrespectful to people that are on performance enhancing drugs if they've got an amazing physique. If you know someone that's gained a lot of muscle in 6 months and they're on performance enhancing drugs, that muscle does not come on unless, if they don't train amazing, if they don't have an amazing diet, if they don't have a regime, if they don't have dedication to it, they won't. If you're Joe Bloggs and you just start taking testosterone, you go to the gym twice a week and train, you will not build muscle. You will not build a good amount of muscle, right? You just won't. So, and I know it's like people get very triggered by people taking performance. I know loads of people that take them that have amazing physiques, right? And they deserve that physique because of the effort that they put in, right? So, but if it's a lot easier for males to build muscle than females. Why? Because of sex hormone testosterone. We have a lot more of it. It's a lot easier for a younger male to build muscle than, I used to PT a lad, and he started working with me at 15, hit puberty maybe 18 months previous, And we trained for 12 months, and he was a rugby player, and the muscle mass that I packed on him in 12 months was ridiculous how his physique changed. But he was 15, 16. We didn't lift stupidly heavy. We did train more for hypertrophy. His diet was I'm not saying he had the best diet, but I did give him a protein goal, which he smashed day in, day out. And he deserved to gain that and change that physique. It takes years to build muscle. It takes a lot. It does. It takes years and years and years and years. And like I say, if you are taking performance enhancing drugs, does it give you a boost? Yes. But you still need to train hard to build that muscle. It just doesn't happen overnight, if that makes sense, you know. Eddie Hall is a great example. He's now building muscle, looks so different to his strongest days. To be honest with you, Eddie Hall isn't actually building muscle. Eddie Hall has always had that muscle that he's got now. He probably had more. Eddie Hall would have had a lot more muscle in his strongman days. When he won strongman, he was 31.5 stone. He's currently sat at about 24 stone. And he looks way more muscular now than he did when he won strongman at 31. But that's only because when he was 31.5 stone, he carried alongside the amount of muscle. He'll have less muscle mass now than he did when he won World's Strongest Man, because he won't be as strong as when he did World's Strongest Man. The difference is he's peeled the layers off. And when we say peeled the layers off, he will have reduced muscle mass, but he's reduced body fat more. So the muscle that he has is more prominent, if that makes sense, you know. Thank you for explaining it. Not a problem at all. People keep saying that you can't build muscle in a calorie deficit, though. Is this true? No, you can build muscle in a calorie deficit. Muscle is an adaptive response by the body. It is not an energy response by the body. All right. Yes, you do need some energy to build muscle, but not that much. So let's go back to pound of body fat, 1 pound of muscle. 1 pound of body fat contains 3,500 calories. 1 pound of muscle contains 600 calories. This has muscle has a sixth of the energy that fat has. Energy store, non-energy store. And this is why the body will not eat into loads of muscle if you are in a calorie deficit. It's going to eat into this because this is efficient energy. It's not going to eat into this because it is very low in energy, right? And muscle building is about, like I say, it is an adaptive response, yeah? To build, like I've just said there, to build a pound of muscle contains 600 calories. So yes, you will need 600 calories extra to build a pound of muscle. And you might be like, right, so if I need 600 calories to build a pound of muscle and I'm in a calorie deficit, how? You eat in a calorie deficit. The body is never in a calorie deficit, right? My body burns about 24,000 calories every single week. My body every single week gets 24,000 calories. My body is never in a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit describes consuming less calories than you burn. It doesn't describe the amount of calories the body actually gets. So if I eat 24,000 calories in a week, right, those 24,000 calories predominantly convert into body fat and store as body fat in my body. I then burn 24,000 calories in a week, so I take that body fat out. Store 24,000 calories worth of body fat, eat 24,000 calories worth of body fat, or burn 24,000. Eat 24,000 calories worth of body fat, which converts to stored body fat. Burn 24,000. My body fat stores stay the same, right? When I'm in a calorie deficit, I don't eat 24,000 calories, right? I eat 18,000 calories. Those 18,000 calories predominantly convert and store as body fat. But I burn 24,000, right? So I've got a 6,000 calorie deficit there. The other 6,000 that my body needs, it gets from my stored energy that's already there. So if I add 18,000 calories worth of body fat to my body, but take away 24,000, and I'm still taking away 24,000, I have got permanent stores of energy. You know, if you've got 30 quid's worth of petrol in your petrol tank and you go to the garage and put 20 quid in, you can burn 40 quid's worth of petrol because you've already got stored energy in your car, is how it works. So you can build muscle in a calorie deficit because your body's never in a calorie deficit. Now, the lighter you are, the less stored body fat you have, and the more experienced you are at lifting weights, the harder it gets to build muscle within a calorie deficit. But if you're overweight, you can easily build muscle in it because, like I say, your body's never in a calorie deficit. Does that make sense? Like I say, building muscle is an adaptive response. This is my bicep here, right? This is my bingo wing. This is my bicep. When I'm in the gym, I stretch out my bicep. So I've got a weight at the end of my arm, right? So I've got a weight at the end of my arm. Let's say this is a dumbbell, right? So when I've got a dumbbell, I stretch out my bicep, right? And then when I bring that weight in, I contract it. I stretch it, I contract it, right? And what I'm doing here is I'm stretching and contracting the muscle similar to this rubber band. Stretch, contract, stretch, contract. Under load, right? When you stretch and contract a muscle under resistance over a period of time, this muscle will break down. You'll rip it. Your muscle is put together like a bit like Velcro, where it's kind of locked together like that. Stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract. Eventually it'll go and it'll tear. And I'll tear this muscle, right? Eat lots of nice protein. That then goes and fills in the tears in the muscle and repairs it. Adaptive response. If I keep tearing and repairing this muscle over and over again, my brain, which is really clever, my body goes, Neil needs a stronger bicep. He needs a bigger, stronger bicep. So we'll put some energy into that bicep to increase the strength of it, right? We'll put some effort in. And it's an adaptive response. The more you put your body through the rigors, the more your body will adapt to it and make it stronger. That's it. It's an adaptive response, right? Fat loss is an energy response. As I just said there, eat so many calories, burn so many calories. If you don't eat the calories that your body requires, your body will just tap into your fat stores for those calories. And your body, like I say, is never in a calorie deficit. Does that make sense? What vitamins you take, Neil, would help with tiredness? Right, this is the last one for me today. I've got to go because I've got a weight loss coaching live in 5 minutes or so. Right, the best thing that helps with tiredness is increasing your everyday movement, doing some regular exercise, prioritizing sleep, and your overall diet. Right, if those 4 things are not so. If you've got a low level of movement, you do zero exercise, you have an overall poor diet, right, and you don't prioritize getting enough sleep, those are the 4 things before you even need to look at supplementation. Those are the 4 things you need to work on, right? Because if you don't work on those 4 things, you can take as much supplements that promote energy till the cows come home, and it won't do anything, right? So if you're currently doing 6,000, 5,000 steps a day, you're sedentary. Have a more active lifestyle. If you're currently doing 0 exercise a day, try and do a couple of bits of exercise a week. It might be a Get Fit with Rick in front of your telly. It might be walking, but at a faster pace. It might be walking for a longer distance or a longer time. It might be going to the gym and training, right? If you have, if you're not eating much fruit, much veg, right? You're not getting what we might class as some superfoods in there, like your chia seeds and, veggies that are absolutely really nutrient dense. Start adding those in, right? And then if you are literally have a really poor sleep pattern, work on your sleep pattern. You do those 4 things, your energy levels will improve, right? If you're doing those 4 things now and you still feel like I'm a bit tired, a bit lethargic, then I recommend taking vitamin B12 and vitamin D3. Right, those are two really good supplements that will boost you, that will help. But it's just a supplement. It's just a topper from what you should be naturally doing. Yeah, if that makes sense. Right, guys, I have got to go. I know it's been a bit of a quicker one, this. It's been a pleasure as always. You guys on plan in the community. I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so with the Weight Loss Coaching Live. I'm going to get it going about 10:05 I'll start the live up now. So I'll get it now. If you go into the WhatsApp community, there's the live link in there. I think, did I put them in yesterday? I have no idea, actually. I might not have done. If I haven't put the live links in. Anyway, I'm going to broadcast out the live link very, very shortly. But the Zoom is now up and running. So if you've got the link, get involved, get in, come join. But I will broadcast the live link out now and put it in the WhatsApp community. TikTok. Been a pleasure. I won't be on again today. When am I on tomorrow? I don't know, to be honest with you. It might be Thursday before I'm back now. I've got our weight loss, everything weight loss session tomorrow. That'll be a 9:30 jobby. That will be a 9:30 a.m. jobby because I've got to take Rachel again to. Oh, actually, no, she says she's got to be in work early tomorrow for like 8:45. No, it will be. It'll be a 9:30 jobby. All right. Will the weight loss coaching live tomorrow? I can't do it at any other time tomorrow. If I'm picking Rachel up from work, I might try and go a little bit earlier, but it'll just be on TikTok and I'll do it. But I'm definitely back. Definitely back. When am I definitely back? 9:30 a.m. Thursday morning. 9:30 a.m. Thursday morning. Get it in your diary. So TikTok, I will definitely see you then. If I see you before, it will just be a bonus. And same for you guys. Now, definitely, if you just follow me Facebook or YouTube, it will be, because if I do a live tomorrow, it will be in the car, and I can't do the dual stream in the car or the triple stream in the car. So 9:30 a.m. Thursday morning, I will definitely be back, and I'll see you then. And if I don't see you before then, have a good couple of days, and I'll see you.